Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. This is Market Today and I'm Sakshi Batra, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street, starting from the benchmark index moves to sectoral action and all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. We'll help you understand the expert views on several sectors, the stocks and the market insights as well. But first up, a quick check on how the benchmarks, the Nifty and the Sensex are doing at this point in time. Well, as we inch closer to the day's end, you can see that the markets have inched higher, 0.5% of gains coming in on the Nifty right now. It's up about 90 odd points at 19,400. The Sensex also comfortably up by about 0.6 odd percent, 383 points up in trade at 65,329. So we started off on a nervous note, but the bulls have actually hit the ground right there in trade today. Let's look at the broader markets also shining through. The mid-cap 100 index definitely looking at more gains coming in, 0.8%, and with that it is one of the leading indices today. Let's also look at the Nifty Bank and the heaviest weighted sector along with financial services, private banks and PSU banks to see where the market's looking like there. 44,063. So if the Nifty Bank manages to close above 44,000 mark, that would be some sign of a breather for all those Nifty Bank traders who've been waiting for this level on the closing side over the last few odd trading sessions. 0.5% gains coming in on this one as well. Broadly, the sectoral indices also look pretty positive with the metals and the IT index clearly leading today. The realty follows next along with the next 50, the mid-cap 100 index, healthcare, FMCG, even private banks and consumer durables sectors. All of them almost up by almost 0.5% to 1% gains coming in. Barring the PSU banks and the oil and gas space that are slightly down in trade, rest of the sectors still look positive today. Let's look at the gainers on the Nifty pack in today's trading action. So you can definitely see the Adani Group stocks shining through. Adani Enterprises as the clear winner. Adani Ports also up by almost 3%. Bajaj Finance, Adani Enterprises, all of these are the top gainers in today's trading action. You also have Power Grid, Hindalco and Bharti Airtel up by almost 2.5% in trade. But let's welcome our guest on the show. Mr. Abhijit Paul joins in. He's a market expert. Welcome, Abhijit, and thank you so much for taking the time out. You know, when we entered this session, there was a whole host of pessimism across the globe. We were looking at the US markets that closed in the red on Friday. We had European markets that also had ended subdued. The Asian markets, of course, were reacting to the Chinese rate cut. And we've been listening to a lot of experts who've been bothered about the US symposium coming in this week. So a lot of confusing data coming in. But it's the domestic markets that have actually outperformed perhaps all investors' expectations today with almost a 300 points of a surge today. Your own thoughts on the Indian markets right now, and what does the outlook look like to you?
Actually, hi, good afternoon. Well, we've come off quite a bit. 20th July is when the benchmark Nifty topped out. And on a high to low basis, we're down close to 3.5%. The bank Nifty financials led the move. And if I'm not mistaken, the bank Nifty on a high to low basis is also down close to 6%. So we have had our share of a fall which lasted for 4 weeks. We should not forget the fact that this 4-week sell-off is healthy for the overall long-term trend of the market. We had a great up move to an all-time high. And after that, a 3 to 4 or even a 5% cut on the downside is healthy for the overall long-term bull market. So nothing wrong in this fall. Sectoral rotation is something that I'm closely looking at. And as you mentioned, that IT is definitely the one which is picking up from here. So the bounce back that we are seeing right now is an encouraging one. We started off the day pretty mild, soft, like 7 or 10 points down. And after that, looking at the index or the Nifty over 100 points up is not a bad deal at all. But still, it will be a short-term bounce back in the recent fall that we have had so far. Short-term trend is down. The long-term charts are fine. So it's like a crux right now. I can expect this move to extend further. 100, 150 points for the Nifty should be fine. Broader markets are doing good. Adani Group all of a sudden has shown a good move that will help the sentiment also. So Another 150 points on the upside is fine. It's interesting to see who participates in this bounce back. Reliance is not, others are. PSU banks are not, private sector banks kind of mixed. But overall, if you ask me from a long-term point of view, everything's fine. From a short-term point of view, I would see that if this move goes towards 19,700 or not, and if yes, will it sustain there or not?
Okay, so that's about broadly about the markets. But let's talk about the stock that made its debut today, and that's Jio Financial Services. It has become the 51st active stock on the Nifty 50. Of course, we do know that we are looking at a T+3 session when it will be removed from the exchanges as well. But we've also seen the stock hit 5% lower circuit again today. So, the investors are still in doubt as to what should one be really looking at. We will address each of these questions separately. One is first, your own thought about Jio Financial Services as a company and now as a stock, the first Reliance stock in almost 2 decades that has got listed. So, what does it really mean for all the investors?
Well, whenever we have a Reliance stock coming up, if you look at the charts, 20th July when the market topped out, and that's exactly when you have the TT merger. So in my career of 18 years, I've always marked my charts whenever there is something related to Reliance happening. So from a charts point of view, it's too early because I don't have any chart apart from the day trade.
Yes.
But if I talk from the overall experience, overall markets point of view, the markets will definitely like it. Yes, they might use this kind of a fall to buy into it, but it needs a little bit of more time. And there's no harm, like let's say when you come with an IPO, you take a call on the overall fundamentals of the market, the overall view for the next 1, 2, 3 years, if not more, and you invest and you give that company some time. So from that point of view, I don't think it's any harm. From my side, the charts, I would want it to, give it at least a quarter's time, and then I will be in a far better state to comment on the price movements. But as of now, I don't mind to probably accumulate from an investment point of view.
From a new investment point of view, it's not too bad a level to accumulate as well. But would you also explain to our viewers, what will really happen now that it has hit the lower circuit today? So obviously today you can't do anything about it. Tomorrow will be a new day again, and then Wednesday's trade is what you have. For anyone who would be wanting to invest for the long term, once the stock gets delisted also, and then relisting will happen in a course of time, what will really happen if one takes a delivery right now?
Well, if you take the delivery, it's good. You can hold on to and see when the relisting happens. But yes, when the stock has hit a circuit on the down, it is difficult. You've placed your orders and you don't have a fill. So something that you have to keep trying, and probably you will get some quantity in your hands.
Okay, understood that. Give us also a sense on the entire NBFC fintech space as well, now that it is now going to be an important contender in the entire space, where we have been tracking the Bajaj Finance, Bajaj FinServes of the world. Paytm also is a fintech player right there, but a whole host of the NBFC space. And what Jio Financial Services really aims to do, it will have several of the businesses right there, a lot of verticals that it will be catering to going forward. But how do the dynamics really change in this space currently for the investors who are looking for opportunities here?
Well, from the overall larger perspective, the dynamics of the overall thing, how it will impact the other players in the market, I think we have to leave it to time and let it unfold for us. In terms of price, Bajaj Finance, FinServes, as you said, they are going through a short-term cut on the downside, but the overall long-term charts are exceptionally good, really good. So if someone is invested in a Bajaj FinServe or a Bajaj Finance, they can stay put. Probably it will take some time to adjust what's happening outside with Jio Finan, and they will probably create some kind of a consolidation, a range-bound movement. They may not trend as well they trended before, which means they may not generate the kind of value that it did in the last decade or so. But still the charts are fine. Paytm, on the other hand, is slightly different in nature because Paytm post its IPO had gone through a severe cut, and it's kind of coming out of its ashes right now. Chart-wise, whatever little I have, it's looking fine. It has picked himself up pretty well. 750, 760 was a crucial level. It has taken that out, and I think it's poised for 1K and probably will inch further up. but we need to give these stocks, Jio also, and let's see what unfolds.
Okay, and what would your call be on Reliance Industries then? After its demerged entity has now also become another stock to track along with Reliance Industries. First one with the Geo nomenclature at that. So, what does it really mean for a Reliance Industries fan out there who's been consistent believer of Reliance Industries as a growth story and has been accumulating the shares for a long time? What does an average shareholder of Reliance Industries really understand from today's move?
Well, Sakshi, in my 18 years career, whomever I've met is a Reliance fan has always stayed a Reliance, right? In my career, Reliance was only once that had gone kind of underweight from the institutions was back in, I think, 2010 to 2015 when the stock had gone completely range bound. At that point of time, institution holding was at the lowest, but Reliance is the stock. So from a chart point of view, from a price point of view, exceptionally strong uptrend, very close to its all-time highs. Yes, over the last over the last, three quarters, it's kind of made a range for itself. But price-wise, if I talk from a short-term or even a medium-term trade point of view, price-wise, there's not much of a problem. From a very short-term point of view, if I have to comment, then I feel that it's slightly stretched on the upside and it's trading at 25, 20, 21. And there is a mild possibility of 2400. If what I see on the weekly charts play out, we might get 100, 150 points cut. That doesn't damage the overall structure, but Reliance will always be the blue-eyed, stock and the chart of the Indian markets.
Okay, let me now take it across to the wider group of stocks that are really buzzing in trade today. First is the Adani Group stocks, which you briefly mentioned. All of them have been showing remarkable recovery, good up move continuing from the last week, even on today's trading session as well. Which of these 10 listed stocks are you more positive on? And you would believe that, now is the right time to perhaps start buying if somebody has still not bought into any of these Adani Group stocks now?
Well, I definitely knew that you're going to ask me this question before the start of the program. So I closely did take a look at all of them. Adani Transmission is something that I've been talking to my community as a mentor, and we liked that stock from last week. Adani Enterprise definitely is looking well. From a short-term trading point of view, we are a little late because the moves have already happened. Yeah. But if I have to share my view, which one structurally looks the best, it's actually Adani Ports, because the retracement or the bounce back from the big sell-off, Adani Ports has given the best of the bounce back as of now, not even Adani Enterprise. So structure-wise, I'll definitely stick my neck out and go with Adani Ports. Definitely not at this price of 859, because the breakout of this stock came around 750, 760. That's almost 100 points from that breakout. Investor wants to buy and hold and give it some time. There's no need to time your entry exit, Adani Ports. But if you want to time, I would say buy on a dip, Adani Enterprise, Adani Transmission.
Okay. Apart from this, wanted to understand from you, the Adani Group stocks have definitely shown a very, very strong move. Apart from this, a lot of other stocks have been showing some kind of a very, very positive move. So let's take some stocks one by one. I want to understand about Trident first, if you track that stock. It's a small ticket stock, just about 35 rupees or so. Today it has shown a very strong up move, 9.5% up move in today's trading action. Do you track this stock at all, and what would you really make of the kind of move that we've seen here today?
I don't track it that closely, but given a 30 seconds time, I can quickly take a look and share my view. Now, Adani weekly chart is definitely looking good. It is giving us a structural breakout. 35, it's a big move. Last time it did spend some time within 35.40, and I'm talking about July 22, October 22. So we need a move there, and it's looking good.
Okay, got that. What about the railways space stocks. Do you track any of them? Today, one of them has actually shown a very remarkable move, Ircon International. That's up about 7.5% today. But we've seen off and on some of these stocks from this basket show strong momentum. Any of these stocks that you particularly like, and what would you say on Ircon?
Well, I do not track it. I can take a look if you can tell me the name of the stock, but the railway stocks, I don't track that closely. Mainly, I track the FNO space.
Okay, so Ircon International is at 107.5, 108.3 right now, 7.5% up in trade, 8% now up in trade, and it's at the day's high level as well. Apart from this, we also have IRFC, RVNL. These are the other railway group stocks, that are showing 1 or 2% of a move right now. But do you track any of them, and would you want to comment on any of them?
Well, Arcon is an exceptional chart. It's gone up pretty well. Even from an investor or a short-term trader's point of view, it doesn't make sense. It's fairly stretched. It takes its time to retrace, consolidate, and then decides on the next move. It is on the move. So I won't definitely suggest that anyone should chase it. If you get a dip, even in the range of 5 to 8%, I think that those are better levels to buy into such structures.
Okay. Another space that I wanted your thoughts on is the power space. This space has suddenly become extremely attractive. Many of the stocks right here are becoming some of the top picks of most of the analysts that we've been discussing too as well. Even today, on the FNO space, Tata Power has emerged as the top gainer and 4.5% up right now for this one as well. Of course, from the Adani basket, we have Adani Power that's been moving, NTPC. A lot of brokerage houses are giving their positive calls right there. You also have the smaller ones, Torrent Power, Genus Power, that have shown immense growth in the last few trading sessions as well. Thoughts here on the power space, and which stock really looks attractive to you now?
At this price, it's difficult. Tata Power is something that even at this price looks good. What it looks like is a breakout candidate, a typical breakout candidate about that 250 mark. NTPC, in terms of the chart, the way the charts have shaped up, NTPC by far is looking the best, but definitely very, very stretched. So Tata Power, even at 239, 240 is not a bad bet. Considering the investor has a fairly, couple of years at least time frame. From a trading point of view, if we buy here, it will be a breakout. 210 to 215 is a pretty decent zone on the downside from a short-term to medium point of view. Makes sense. One can buy Tata Power.
Okay, one can buy Tata Power right there. I'd ask you the last question to tell me your favorite space in the markets right now. Any particular area that you're turning super bullish on in the current market setup?
Well, not necessarily. My favorite area is always the financials because that has the highest weightage. If you add the banks and the financials, almost 40%. So whenever the market is up or down, it's the financials. And if you are someone who's looking to trade the move of the market, that's where you have to be. But apart from that, I think that going forward, as I said at the beginning of the show, that sectoral rotation is something which I think is happening as we discuss. And I see IT picking up. You will see Wipro, TCS, Infosys, Persistent gave a pretty good move. And I think that going forward, if the Nifty wants to hold on to itself and not fall below 19K, IT should play a big role. That is when your auto, your pharma, your FMCG should slow down, and that should be the responsibility of the IT. So I'm going to keep a very close eye on the IT pack.
All right, IT pack looking interesting at this point in time. Many thanks, Abhijit, for being with us on the show and discussing all these insights with all our viewers in terms of the overall market setup, several sectors and stocks that we discussed today. The markets have come off the day's high point, but still, comfortably up above 65,200 odd levels on the Sensex. The Nifty is just hovering around 19,400 odd mark, just about 90 odd points up in trade. We're about 10 odd minutes away from the day's close. Looks like we are going to be heading for a positive close for sure, and that should give us some kind of a breather from the week after week losses that we've been seeing for the entire month of August. But will that mean that the gains will continue for the rest of the week? A lot of global setup, something that we will need to continue to track, and you can track the market momentum with us on Business Today TV. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also continue to engage with us on our other social media platforms as well. Until then, many thanks for tuning in.
In yet another